I think, what does one need to do as governor of Nairobi to demonstrate impact? That's a very important question I think the Kidero office must be grappling with. In Mombasa, you fairly know what you need to do. You need to do to maintain cleanliness, to deal with the hawkers issue. You need to effect programs towards youth employment and all other areas that are functions of devolution. You know what to do in Lamu. You know what to do in Kwale. What does one need to do? Just the traffic mess itself. You know, I see people sitting in traffic and cussing Kidero. And as he puts it, Weda, he came in last year. If you're to use that kind of analysis, then you'll excuse everybody in this country. You'll excuse everyone. People must take responsibility immediately they come into office, notwithstanding. They must devise, they must look at the more urgent issues and start to give, solutions to those issues. So therefore, if I was to go that way, we'll say this traffic whole mess was started by Kenyatta because he never built enough infrastructure, then Moi, then Kibaki, we just built the super thicker highway, whatever it's called, and therefore Kidero is not to blame. Kidero has to have creative, cutting-edge policies or programs towards dealing with the Nairobi traffic. You know, are we going to close this road at this hour? Are we going to reroute people at this hour? We're doing that in some areas like Mombasa. So I think he has a fundamental mountain to climb, and I don't envy the position he's in a bit. But also, one of the dailies today, I think when you're a journalist, see the main point. Don't sift it in all the time. I do believe that one or two of us, when we went onto stage in Kibera yesterday, Kamukunji, we actually did indicate that Kidero needs to show more commitment to the coalition because of the fact that this is a very prime county for the coalition. All the other media houses saw the story on corruption, on Anglo leasing. This one media house saw only the story, simplistically, about us telling, or one or two senators telling Kidero in terms of being faithful to the court creed. So therefore, I think we need to be sincere, and I hope Kidero can get his act together. I want to believe that the Supreme Court, after the decision, particularly if it goes his way, then he has another 1-2 years to actually turn things around.
The senator's not going to like what I'm going to say. I'm in a very unique position as a Kenyan because I am a lobbyist. I lobby, I do advocacy work through my organization One, and it gives me the occasion to interact at the highest levels of leadership in the country and also at the lowest levels and in between, the business community,
you highest, civil, me, lowest,
civil society, etc. You're being naughty. Kenyans will be disappointed, but not shocked to know that the problem with this country is most leaders don't give a damn. Most leaders are about self-aggrandizement, are about their own perks, their own status in society, the fact that they don't fuel their cars anymore, all the security that they get. And so I spoke to Senator Janet Ongera last week, and what CORD is doing a very primitive, very dry calculation to say that yes, we have problems with Kidero, but we want to continue to hold this position, etc. I'm sorry to say it's Raila politics of, I want to build a coalition, I can bring in Kosgei, I can bring in whoever, as long as I do my level best to propagate myself. This is how I'm going to build the Pentagon. Principles are not going to stand for anything. I'm not going to hold anybody to account. And so the problem with that kind of politics is it is the voter, the resident that suffers. There is a problem in Nairobi County. I am on record saying this. I have spoken one-on-one with leaders. I have made very careful calculations before taking, positions.
It is the voters who give Kidero the job.
Yes, but what I'm saying is sometimes they'll give him the job because of the party, because of who's campaigning for him. Once again, Raila's name comes in. And so what I'm saying is that for Evans Kidero, yes, and former vice president as well.
You have to realize that the Nairobi governorship is actually a coalition of ODM and Wiper.
And Wiper. For Evans Kidero, this is a fantastic opportunity to shed the hubris, the arrogance, to take a look at what ails Nairobi. There's many problems. Sometimes, I look at these leaders and I say, why can't you just see it? Just imagine, I was being told last week by somebody in his office, a friend, that you have rats that cross from a place called Kaloleni, I think it is, Uhuru with that side, to Bama Market to eat, and then they cross back, and they know how to cross Jogo Road. Remember? Yeah. Remember when Mwai Kibaki came in, they had an exercise at Merikiti Market that killed 6,000 rats. Some of these animals are the epitome of poverty. You know, they are, remember when Hitler did the Holocaust, he was calling the other side such things as cockroaches and what have you. So Kenyans have gotten dehumanized and impoverished to the point where a lot of these things are just nothing but jokes anymore. We have no grip, no understanding of what cleanliness is, of what value for taxpayers' money is. It is now just a country of those who live in Muthaiga and those who live in Kaloleni, and nothing in between, and it doesn't matter. He has a chance to humble himself, to look at quick wins, rather than running the politics of spiting CORD, spiting Raila, you know, I'll do whatever the hell I like, I'm here, I'm the governor now. I mean, it must have not been lost on someone like Senator Hassan, who is a social media person, that when this Court of Appeal ruling came, who was celebrating on Facebook and Twitter? It was CORD
not the
constituency, not even the other side. It was CORD people,
that city council choir.
Even people from the Luo.
City council choir.
Specific members of the Luo community saying a lot of very painful and hurtful things. And as a leader, Hassan, it's not just about making simple calculations, propagate yourself in power regardless. Power is political, but it's not about deception and manipulation.
All right, let's run away.
Can you allow me this point? Yes. The political point here, the political point is that we want to demonstrate that CORD is not fighting Kidero. No matter what the positions he's taken.
Fighting CORD?
So, there is a perception that he is gravitating to another side for whatever political interest. But as a coalition, we don't fight our members.
Hassan made time to go for the bungled ODM elections. The governor was very busy looking at the lights of Nairobi that day. And said a statement like, for that fact, you should cancel that thing because I'm very busy looking at things.
Now,
anyway,
let me tell you, I spoke here last time about Kidero. And I said Kidero has two problems. One, Kidero tried to overshadow Baba. He tried to prepare himself to take over the Luo leadership. That was mistake number one. Which God has brought a chance for him to make up by getting all the trucks and all the vehicles from Nairobi City Council to meet Baba on 31st. It will show he's back on the phone. Commitment. Secondly, Kidero was also between a rock and a hard place. You cannot run this city when you're in conflict with the head of state, who controls the police, who controls many things. You can't. Do you understand? So
is he running it now?
Let me
is
finish.
He running
when
it now?
you are talking, I kept quiet because in orderly societies, people listen. So Kidero had to actually say, President Uhuru, we will work together. When CORD saw that, they said, wow, this is betraying us. So he was between a rock and a hard place. Then, having worked with Uhuru, going to try to overshadow Baba.
But as you continue with your point.
Yes.
Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho has several meetings with Uhuru, but it's never
and even
appeared.
Senator.
Yes.
We meet them. We have never been called
that he is in bed.
Absolutely.
It's a little bit
point
too
smart.
cozy.
Yes.
Good point smart.
I was going
That's as smart as a professional.
I was going to make the same point.
I started by saying his biggest problem was trying to overshadow Baba, trying to take the mantle of leadership in Luoland. That was the first problem. And it sent everybody scared and saying, okay, we'll deal with it.
Through fundraisers.
Then now he started dalliance with the president. That was mistake number two. Those two mistakes are very major. Very, very major. And that is why he has lost considerable support. Mistake number three is that he has also failed to make a big impact as a governor, making things worse and worse for him. Problem number one is that suddenly the court overturned his elections. So So it allowed his enemies room to say, we have you in the corner. We will deal with you. And his only salvation would be the Supreme Court, because the Nairobians have a problem with him, majority. The Cod Brigade, especially the Luos, I can tell you, have a big problem with him, including Raila himself. And he keeps on saying, I did not want this man. I wanted Bishop Margaret Wanjiru. Somehow he slipped through our system. Now see the way he's betraying us. So his salvation would be the Supreme Court.
Tim's idea.
Yes, and you remember last time I said he will also, he seems also to be a victim of
early success.
Early success. He went in from Mumias, he came
Easy,
in,
yeah, easy.
went for the biggest county in the country, and got and said, wow, then the next stop is the presidency.
It's easy.
Now the curse of the early success seems to be following him. He needs a lot of prayers.
Can I just say something? First and foremost, Ambrose.
Yes.
I disagree that the president controls the police force and therefore puts you in a corner. I think it is Kimayo and Co who have refused to change. They have refused to internalize the Constitution. And when some of us believed that the pinnacle must have probably members from the diverse, array of Kenyans, including civilian, we wanted to have a complete transformation of the police force, a complete shift of paradigm, so that we are not captives to a presidency that is also powerful, that he can regulate public conduct even of public officers who are put in a fix like the Kidero fix. For let's say, for Mombasa County, we have defined our relationship with the national government. It's a matter of constitutional necessity that we must partner with the national government, because there are certain areas they even keep the bigger parts of the national revenue with them. And there are certain infrastructural issues that we need. But in terms of the political faith, in terms of what we believe in, I think it mirrors very shadowy in terms of, we want issues around resolution of land. We know that the current administration cannot resolve it because they are in the center of issues around land and many other issues. So I think what Kidero needed to do was to demonstrate the pragmatism that I will work with the presidency if he actually acknowledges that we have a constitutional destiny to be able to run the agenda of this country as statesmen or statespeople. And then secondly, to make it very clear where we belong, the political persuasions that we have, and the points of departure. What I make very clear to our friends, particularly in Jubilee, I say where there is common interest, where we need to talk as a nation, we will do it. But there are fundamental points of departure that are areas of values and beliefs, how you run the country's security structure, how you manage the politics, how you do not undermine governance, how you transform the police, in terms of the policing paradigm, how you shift many other gears, which I think we are rolling back those freedoms strategically, because I've had this, particularly some friends in Jubilee, a very wicked statement. There's too much freedom. Baka, the president can't do nothing. Because these guys are nostalgic of the Kenyatta era, nostalgic of the Moi era, nostalgic of the Kibaki era. They have not internalized as being digital. You have to be a little bit more flexible. So that's why I kept saying the digital here is about software, not
Senator,
about hardware. Not about having a Nokia phone, 3310, which is your value system, and having a Samsung S5 cover from River Road and thinking that you're now digital.
Senator, I have a question for you. You are the KNCHR.
Absolutely.
Did you contest the recruitment of Kimayo? And because this is especially last week when middle class was so angry. I've never seen middle class so angry about the tint order.
We love the tint.
Sophia, is your car tinted?
Let me tell you.
People were so angry about that.
We tried to put together a police service commission. In fact, I chaired the panel that interviewed most of these people in the National Police Service Commission. The mandate now was on the Police Service Commission to start making certain strategic choices in terms of transformation. A person who would embody that transformation, a person who himself is transformed. You can't transform externally when you're not transformed internally.
That's true.
We are told in our
old wineskins and new wine.
We are told in our religion that Inna Allah la yukhayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yukhayyiru ma bi anfusihim. Allah does not change the state of a person or of a society until first you change what is in your heart. So your heart is still the KANU one-party police systems. Or apart from the uniform that you've devised for yourself, which looks a little paler or a little darker than the rest of the uniform, That's not reforms. So I think what happens is that National Police Service Commission now was to set certain benchmarks. I had very high expectations, but again, they were squeezed. We saw we saw heads being delivered, real heads, being delivered in Kavuludi's office. So I think their security data was withdrawn. I think that itself was intimidating. If you want to transform a service of that nature, you need a lot of support politically and legitimacy within the public.
Oh, I agree.
I didn't say that Kidero works with the president because he has the police. I said it is the president. If you are running the city of Nairobi, even you, if we make you governor of Nairobi, and you are in
you'll see something different.
I'll deliver like crazy.
And you are on the code wing, the wing that criticizes everything and offers no solution absolutely. You can only work well when you're working with the head of state. And you have a humble head of state who has the mean to walk into an office of a governor and say, we would like things to run this way. And when he does that, and you see, Kidero may not have any say in telling the president, don't come here. My party leader will not be very happy that you walked into my office or you came and had lunch in my home. He has very little he could do.
Let me tell you.
But looking at it.
Can I tell you something, please?
Looking at it,
I want take a break.
I think Jubilee is a propaganda government.
When the president was coming for the first time to Mombasa to distribute title deeds, I got a phone call from nobody else, lesser than my party leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, and said, please, you and either all my Wiper members of parliament from Mombasa, together with any other court friends that we have, must attend the presidential functions because we are not petty. We need to show that we are able, to demonstrate leadership. So it is not true that our party leaders have issues with us being seen around with the president or anybody else.
All right.
That was a slide by, the low end as Benjamin saying, the low end, at the high end.
These guys are just not serious.